So Braydan sent me an email this past week, and also to Dennis Kendall, our chair, to ask if he could spend just a few minutes after church thanking the congregation for their support of LAMP, and then to give some personal insights about his trip along with his wife Mikal on their trip last year. So we're ready to go.
So I'm going to try to keep this brief. In fact, I'm going to say something that you usually don't hear in a Lutheran church, which is I'm setting a 10-minute timer for my talk. There we go. So hopefully that helps. I wanted to just talk since, I'm from Faith, and I don't visit very much, but I want to visit more. And it was great going and joining LAMP again this past year. And part of the reason I was able to go is because of the contribution that Faith made. So I wanted to thank you and do a short talk about my trip last year and my upcoming trip this year. So you probably all know about LAMP, Lutheran Association of Missionaries and Pilots. It's a cross-cultural ministry sharing Jesus Christ with God's people in remote areas of Canada, mainly the north, to Indigenous communities. So the question that often gets asked is, why do we do this as Lutherans? There's many different reasons why LAMP goes on trips to the north. One is there's a major clergy shortage in the north. There's actually a higher need than the clergy allows for. Another reason is in many parts of the north, not so much the community that I serve, but in the prairies especially, there's not great living conditions. There's also a shorter life expectancy than the rest of the population. And part of that is high suicide rates. And this is definitely true in the community that I serve. The living conditions and the systemic communities in Canada. Oh.
Hang on. Sorry. Keep going.
Okay, I will talk louder, or is it back? Okay. Have contributed to major suicide rates. So part of the reason that we go is to help boost the spirits, especially among young people. There's also lack of spiritual maturity in the communities. A lot of people experience faith as children, but then lose their faith as adults. So we're trying to bring biblical literacy and awareness into the communities. And actually, one more reason that I discovered last year is there's a growing negative perception of the church, especially in Indigenous communities, because of what has happened in the past with residential schools. And we're trying to shine a light on the darkness that happened in the past and show that actually Christians don't stand for that, what happened, and we stand for something greater, which is Christ. So these are some of the communities that LAMP serves all across Canada, but I'm going to zoom up specifically to the west coast. You can see in northern British Columbia. So these are the communities that are served by LAMP. This is a bit of an outdated map, but the darker red are the ones currently being served. The gray are possible locations, and the yellow and orange are semi-served every couple years. I am in the furthest west community right here. Can you see my mouse? Yes. The furthest west community here called Dingolf. So it's an 18-hour drive from our home congregation in Richmond. We go through Prince George and stay at a church there on the way. And we travel through what's called the Nishka Highway, where we get to see a lot of the land on the way. So the sites there are beautiful. It's all mountains and water. And there's parts where you're so close to Alaska that there's one land bridge basically separating you and Alaska. So these are some of the things we would see along the way. The reason that I'm talking about the trip is not so much, to show off like what we do on the way, but land acknowledgements are a common thing that we do now before talks, but it kind of misses the mark of the point of a land acknowledgement. The point of a land acknowledgement is to talk about where we're from and where we go. So I want to show the land as well as talk about the people on our trip. So some notable things along the way are a Nisga'a museum that we go to. There's a ceremonial hot springs that we go to before and after. And there's a bridge that's a new bridge in that area. And also, my favorite part is the lava beds. It's the most recent volcanic activity in Canada, in northern BC there. And the Indigenous community has a myth about a raven coming across the land, and you can kind of see the lava beds stop at one line across the land. And the myth is that a raven came out and stretched his beak across the land and rained water to stop the lava from hitting a lot of the communities. So this is the town of Gingolf. This is about half the town that you can see, so it's pretty large. They just paved the roads last year, so that was exciting for us to have paved roads. It's a good community. The Nisga'a people in BC are the first Indigenous community to sign a modern treaty. So the treaty was signed in the 90s, and it's actually a very good treaty for the people there. And because of that, they've been able to boost their economy, boost their towns, boost their infrastructure. So pretty much every year we go, they have a new building that's, or a refurbished building. And last year, the big infrastructure project was the roads. These are the three places of worship for the community. On the bottom left, the white church there is an Anglican church that's been there since the town was founded. The top one is a longhouse that they do a lot of events in. And then the bottom right one there is the church that we stay inside of and host VBS from. It's called Church Army. It's not Salvation Army, it's Church Army, which is an offshoot of an Anglican church, but they've since become independent. The reason I like to show all three of these is the way that faith works in the community right now is it's very loose. So when there's a wedding or a funeral, they'll use all three of these buildings and tour all three. So for example, when there's a funeral, they will start the funeral proceedings with a very traditional funeral service at the Anglican church, and then they will move the body to the Church Army, where they will have kind of more of a wake, like a dinner, and then they will move the body to the longhouse, and they will have a traditional Indigenous ceremony as well. So they have all three intersecting in their church events. Regular church attendance is quite low, though. Each of the two lower churches probably has 3 or 4 families attending weekly. So this is the team that went last year, including my wife on the far right of both photos. She was planning to come today. We brought our puppy on the trip, though, and our puppy vomited 3 times overnight, so she decided to stay with the puppy at the hotel. It was a great team. We also had Luke on the far left of each photo, who's a youth at our church, and he is planning to become a pastor. So this was a great trip for him to get a wider perspective. We also experienced some cultural things. Last year we were invited to, or my wife was invited to help slice salmon for smoking at their smokehouses. It's a women-led job, so she was the only one able to do it. But it was really nice to see that. There's also lots of wildlife. There's so many eagles there. It's like seagulls at the beach. It becomes a regular occurrence. And I'm going to talk about eagles a bit more in just a moment. So our main vocation for the community is hosting a vacation Bible school. And we do that at the Church Army. We run 5 sessions for children in the afternoons. And these include the regular VBS activities. Last year we had about 40 children attend. Each day it was closer to 18, but the kids would change who comes each day. Sometimes it was different siblings, sometimes cousins. We always compete against another activity in the summer. It gets quite busy, so this year there was a basketball camp at the same time as us. But we had lots of kids that ended up coming later in the week because they heard such good things about our VBS, so that was exciting. So we do all the regular activities. Here's some of the crafts that we had. That's my 10 minutes already. Holy moly, I'll take 2 more minutes. We have snacks. As you can see, snacks are one of the most popular activities that we have. We play games. We try to play most of our games outside unless it's raining. And we have Bible readings, and I like highlighting the Bible reading because, as you can see, the kids are all sitting in a circle, listening to the Bible, putting up their hands after the Bible, being very polite. VBS here, when you host it and you say, okay, we're going to sit for 10 minutes and read the Bible, you can't do that because the kids are going to run around and be wild. But in the North, they're so story-driven that when you sit and you tell them a story, they listen very intently for the entire duration of the story, and afterward will engage you in conversation about the story. And they understand on a much deeper level than kids here do, so that's the best part of the day for me. We also play with the kids in the community. We like to walk around, talk to people, go to the creek, find out all kinds of different things. They like to give us lots of fish. We always leave the trip with freezers of fish, which is very exciting. I should have warned you. So, content warning about our next photo. I wanted to tell you a story to end my presentation about why we go to the community. So on our first day this year, the host family there's different clans in the community. They were from Eagle Clan. And when we first got there, so I'm going to show the photo now, it's a dead eagle. A juvenile eagle fell to the ground. It was fighting off some crows, and it dove and didn't calculate correctly. So it broke its neck and was struggling to die. And our host family asked us to come out and see it. One of them has mobility issues, and she's the one that discovered the eagle. And she asked that we carry it and leave it in the bush in order for the crows not to get at it until the wildlife services could come. So it was a pretty intense, and almost a negative, foreboding feeling for the trip to start it off with a juvenile eagle dying. But then over the course of our trip, we saw more and more eagles. And at the end of our trip, we saw this one sitting on the Anglican Church's cross, and it's almost a metaphor for Christ coming back. And the reason I relate to this is the pastor of the church shared with us over the course of the week. At the start of the week, he didn't want to host a service for us. He had a rough year and wanted a break. We were persistent that we wanted him to host a service for us. He did end up hosting a service, and he shared with us at the service a story of his residential school experience and how the trauma was impacting his faith as a pastor. And us being there, and all the kids being there, and more families being at the service than regular, gave him hope again and kind of turned him around. And the month afterward, he hosted an extra potluck that week after we left. And it was the most people that he's had in a in the church before, like other than a funeral. So he called me after crying and was very excited. So the reason we go is, we host a VBS, but every year that I've been, this is my third year now, there's something new that happens that's unexpected. And last year it was Pastor George and helping him. So that's why we go. This year, we're going later. We're going in August instead of July. Because of that, I ask that you please pray for our journey. With the wildfires getting worse every year, I'm quite worried that we're not going to be able to go if a wildfire breaks out across a highway. So please pray for safe travels for us. This is more of a thank you presentation. I'm not asking for donations. If you want to donate, though, you can either write a check or e-transfer us. But mostly, thank you for your support in helping us go last year. It was a great journey. We helped many kids get to know Christ, and we helped Pastor George. So thank you very much.